Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, Guillaume.
Morning.
Welcome to today's live session for the International Day of Education. Really excited to have you all with us today. I see people already joining our conversation in the chat. Today, we're going to dive into a topic that affects every one of us about AI and how it affects how we all learn and grow our skills at work. I'm Shai Davidovich, and with me today, Guillaume Delacour. Guillaume, Head of People Development at ABB. So grab coffee, get comfortable, join us. We're going to take about 30 to 40 minutes of a conversation today. I see people in the chat already kind of excited. So let us know where you're from. Let's have a look. We see people from France, UK, Australia, India joining us. Let's see, Sudan, Algeria. Morning. So today it's not just a conversation with Guillaume and me, it's also a conversation with you. So please let us know in the chat a bit about, what's your approach for learning, for developing your skills. Are you already using AI to upskill, or are you still figuring out where to start? So really, this is an opportunity for you to ask questions for Guillaume, make any comments you have on this topic, and we'll try to address some of them during the conversation with you today. Thank you. Great. Tanzania, Germany, Switzerland, morning. We're here also in Zurich, joining you for today. Brussels,
Sunny Zurich,
Iran. Somehow the sun is out for us after a few days of really cloudy days. Indonesia, Luxembourg, Estonia. Hi, everyone. Great. I think we can start, right? Yeah, we can do that. So again, thank you very much, Guillaume, for sitting with me today. As I said before, Guillaume is the Head of People Development at ABB. He's leading initiative in shaping workforce strategies and ensuring employees have the right skills to meet the challenges of the future, how to adapt, how to grow, how to thrive at work. Here at ABB, with everything changing in the world today and the world of education when it comes to our work, this is really a perfect opportunity for us to have this conversation and how AI is transforming how companies like us, like ABB, are really getting ready for what's coming up next for the future. So let's jump right in. We'd love to hear from you. How do you see AI changing the way we develop our skills at work?
Yeah, thanks for the invite, and good morning, good afternoon to everybody. Maybe I'd like to start with an anecdote that was told to me by a dear friend, Jose Felix Valdivieso, from my business school, and he was on a business trip in Nigeria, in Africa, Lagos, and he had a discussion with the taxi driver, Oriagu, and the taxi driver told me, you work in executive education and so on. I'm saving money to send my children to Harvard Business School. And he said, okay, very good, great. And he said, Harvard Business School, it may be a bit too expensive, no? And then that's the answer that illustrates for me really the spirit of today. The taxi driver told him, you think education is expensive? Try ignorance. And that's for me, on this United Nations Day of Education, that's really what's at stake. We are here to drive progress. Education is a driver of progress. So it's really that fight versus ignorance. So it's a driver of progress for ourselves, for companies, for societies. So it's really something that we need to keep at the front always. And AI in that context, AI is going to change how we're going to educate ourselves, how we're going to connect and grow. We're going to go in on details in that. So, and at the same time, we need to use education to better use AI. So it's really education and AI working hand in hand.
Maybe I'll ask just generally, what do you think the key forces that are shaping the future of workforce, and which skills do you think you believe at least are essential for employees, people are watching us right now, to develop in the industry right now?
Yeah, I think like all companies, we really try to get as much information, as much prediction on what are the forces driving changes in the way on how we work and the skills needed today and then for the years to come. There are many reports out there. Maybe since it's currently in Davos, the World Economic Forum, there is the World Economic Forum report for the future of jobs. So if you take it, maybe we'll put the link in the chat. Extremely interesting report. Try to summarize here maybe the three main driving forces. It's AI and any information technology enabling to capture information. It's robotics and automation, and it's the way that we generate energy and that we store it and distribute it. So it's really kind of the three driving forces.
I will ask you a very general question, but specifically for education and for what you're doing for your as part of your work. So what is basically new with AI?
Yeah, I would say that these forces and AI are going to require all of us to have maybe three main ideas in mind to keep continuously upskilling ourselves. The first one is that we are going to have more information at hand, and our jobs are going to change, new tasks are going to come up. So it's extremely critical to have good analytical skills, critical skills. And it's really which question I'm going to ask, looking at the data, and how I'm going to solve problems in a different way. AI is going to help that, but it's really one of the key things that we need to have in mind when we want to upskill ourselves. The second thing I would say is to be technological literate. So to be understanding the technology in the same way that, for instance, a leader would not say, well, I'm not going to do any people-related topics because there is an HR department. As employees, we cannot say, I'm not going to do anything related to technology, to IT, because there is an IT-IS department. So it's really up to all of us now to really educate ourselves on the technology. And then the third thing is really that continuous flexibility, change, adaptation, evolution, flexibility, maybe in one word, curiosity, that we continuously need to have, because the technology is changing very fast. So it's really how we're going to master this curiosity and this adaptation continuously.
I'm just seeing some things in our chat. I just want to make sure we're addressing some comments from people. But Muhammad is coming from Saudi Arabia, talking about how they are using HR in HR transformation industry. And I think that, today's job market, for anyone who's looking for a job, find that situation could be quite challenging. If you're following on LinkedIn, a lot of conversation of people talking about the challenges of getting an interview, or finding ways for them to develop their skills and their CV, for employers. How do we ensure that, looking right now for us, for people working within ABB, how do we ensure the trainings and development programs are aligned with both my individual, development as an employee, but also what the company is basically looking for the future?
Yeah, we can discuss two things. The first thing that now we can address is maybe how, as employers, as company, what we can do, the techniques, the tactics, strategies that we can use to make sure that our employees are educated and are educated on the skills of the future. That's one thing. And then the second thing that we can address maybe in a second time is, as an employer, maybe as a candidate, what are the things that I can do differently? So maybe for employers, it's really, and if we use the analogy maybe of plants, of gardens, because we say grow, and we can all imagine trees growing and plants growing and so on. So if as a company you want to grow your employees, you have basically three main options. The first one, and maybe I take the image of, we all have the Summer Olympics that took place in Paris last year, beautiful images, Versailles and so on. So the French garden, that's really straight, nice, squared and so on. That's maybe what we used to call talent management. So it's really a top-down approach where, as an employer, you try to predict the skills of the future, and then you say to your employees, this is what you need to do. So that's one way that we need to master. The second way is maybe more the English garden. And as a French person, I will have to say I prefer the type of English garden, and my English friends will remember that anytime. But it's where we let kind of the flowers, the trees grow, and let them find their way. So it's maybe more colorful, more different, but in times of change also it enables more robustness because it gives different solutions. That's the second thing. So the French garden, the English garden, and then the third one is the import. So for instance, if we continue to take the image of flowers, tulips. So tulips, if I ask anyone here in the chat, we associate tulips with the Netherlands. It's actually coming from Turkey. So you would not today think of Netherlands without the tulips, and it's coming from Turkey. We love rice, no? So the potatoes coming from Peru, brought by the Spaniards in the 16th century back to Europe, and then re-imported by the Europeans to the United States, to Canada, and so on. So I think that diversity is really also a factor, an essential factor for companies to continue to bring new ideas, to innovate, to perform, to be robust, to find new solutions. So really think of, as an employer, talent management, the French garden, people growth, letting people find their way as an English garden, and maybe have that flow and having an environment where diversity can thrive. We stand firm on that.
Okay, just going over some of the comments we're seeing in the chat. I want to make sure we're not missing out on anyone. Maybe I'll ask you one question people are asking in the chat. How can we remove the fear and hesitation associated with integrating AI into upskilling at work?
So I think, for me, AI is going to make our jobs more interesting. So there are tasks that maybe are not so interesting today that you can automate, that you can delegate, that you can give to AI. And the concept of NetNet that I got in one of the conferences at IMDb Business School on the with a chief digital officer is that concept of there were things that were impossible to do before, too complex, too expensive, that are possible today with AI. So if we take, for instance, predictive maintenance. So you want to have a way to monitor all your equipment in a factory. If you take the train, I mean, very popular in Switzerland, you want to make sure that there is no maintenance on the day that you take your train and it's not going to break. No. So now with AI and technologies that also ABB promotes, you can really have that. Millions of sensors of information, predictive the maintenance, and then saying, hey, that train 2 days ago, 2 days before it departs, we're going to fix something. The same in the factory. It's going to save millions, things that were not possible yesterday, possible today. So I think it's really a matter of embracing it. So I really see it as a factor of progress and making our jobs more interesting.
Maybe a bit more about your personal role at ABB. How do you anticipate future skill gaps? How do we, as also a company, and what steps are we taking now to prepare our employees for them?
Yeah. So, I mean, it seems that with AI, everything is new. I mean, ABB, 140 years of history. We're extremely proud of these 140 years of always trying to find a solution, trying to innovate, and that comes with letting our people find their development, their adaptation, their evolution. So we have what we call at ABB Learn, Connect, Grow. We really say, okay, grow is the ultimate objective. Define your growth objective. And enjoy the what we call the open job market at ABB. So we post all the jobs, and you can decide where to go and for which jobs you want to apply. Also learn. I mean, we have leadership trainings, functional trainings. We trained, for instance, last year 2,000 leaders in our different leadership learning programs. That's a huge number. And then we have connect. I think that it's extremely important to say in these days where we might say everything is online, everything is digital, and so on, that the human connection, today we're here face-to-face together, enjoying the coffee, it's essential. It's essential because this is how we put our brains together, and we're going to generate that spark, that new idea. No? Our diversity is going to make it richer. And so the connection is really bridging the different culture, the different point of views, getting new ideas, different perspectives, asking for feedback. Let's say you're my manager, I'm coming to you, I ask for feedback, I get feedback from you. So that's really essential. So the three things got together, and this is really what we try to promote at ABB. Grow, it's really developing yourself, maybe some direction that the company did not expect. Drive your career, apply on jobs internally, learn, enjoy the different learning offering that we have at ABB. Learn also from your day-to-day experiences, maybe successes, failures, and so on, and then connect with your colleagues. It's much more fun, and over time, this is how also you can achieve your growth objectives.
Definitely. I think that a lot of people are joining us also from the last 5 minutes. I just want to let you know we are here with Guillaume Delacour from ABB, and we're talking about how AI is changing the way we are upskilling as employees. I wanted to ask you about emerging technologies and trends that we should all be focusing when it comes to upskilling.
Right. So, I mean, since we're talking about education and AI specifically in this coffee this morning, there is a fundamental thing to understand is that AI is going to enhance, improve how we learn, connect, and grow. So, learning historically, at least for people of my age, you were going to an education system and you were trained to memorize things. That was what many people, Pierre-Marie Yedo, Emmy Edmondson, and so on, called the memory intelligence. You were rewarded, you were trained to memorize things and then to give them back. Today, it's how you keep yourself always on the foot of learning something new. It's the process of learning. So it becomes a procedural intelligence. So imagine you have in your pocket, with artificial intelligence, like a full library, the best library of the world. So it's all about how you're going to navigate in this library, which questions you're going to ask, which books are you going to pick, which information you're going to retain, apply critical thinking of it, discuss it with your colleagues, connect with them, and then get something out of it. So it's really important to understand that the technology is going to change how we learn. The same with Connect. We were saying in the connection piece that diversity is a strength. Diversity also can lead to different communication style, or different preferences. Can also be between different functions. You do not speak in the same way speaking to a finance expert or speaking to an HR expert or speaking to a marketing expert. But with AI, I can really fine-tune my messages, better understand the needs of the other, and build bridges that are stronger between us. So it's really the idea of keeping the diversity and at the same time building the bridges to be stronger together. No? And then maybe the last piece on AI and growth. So historically, you were going maybe to your manager, what can I do in the future? What type of role should I apply and so on? And now it's really, you can much easier simulate the different career paths you can have, the different jobs you could take, the different maybe gaps that you have for different jobs. And with all that information, take conscious decisions on what is probably your best next steps in terms of career. It was very difficult before to do it at scale. So I think it's really that idea that I really want to share today is that the beauty with AI on Learn, Connect, Grow is that AI is going to bring what I call democratization and personalization. Things that were very expensive before or only for an elite is now becoming available to everyone. And I think that's really the beauty of it.
Yeah, opportunities, but also might be challenges. Can you think of challenges we might face in expanding our workforce? We're thinking about the future of our workforce in the coming few years. How we are planning to address those changes?
But I think it's the first thing is to bring what we call the psychological safety. No, so try it out. AI is already there. Just play with it. We're lucky enough at ABB that we have AI tools that we can use every day. So practice it, enjoy, experiment, share your knowledge. So I think that's really the way to create a movement inside your companies, inside ABB. That's definitely what we promote.
There's a lot of questions, so I want to maybe go to our chat and
sure.
Ask you some of the things people are interested in. So we mentioned fear, hesitation that are associated with integrating AIs and how to remove those fears and hesitations. Do you see any difference? Do you see any difference in adopting AI technologies? And would you say that this openness varies across different employees groups, such as age, role, experience level? Do you see any differences between different groups of employees?
I think it all goes back to curiosity and the willingness to try new things. And I don't think that it's more related to certain groups, certain categories, and so on. So it's really that innate fire that we might have to, okay, I want to try new things and I want to find it out. So it's really that curiosity. So, but maybe, I can share a personal example on how I'm using it, for instance, and then maybe it gives a bit more envy maybe to some of the people who are listening to us to try it today, because that's a National Day of Education, so that we are here to try new things. No, but for instance, the way I use AI is as self-coaching. Coaching, athletes in the sports, we all watch sports, many of us have coaches, executives have coaches. It's something expensive, it's something that requires a time, that requires one human in front of you, and of course it's excellent. And of course that's the best possible thing that you can get, an individual human coach. And then we do that in our leadership programs. Many people in the team are delivering that to our leaders. But how do you do that for 100,000 employees? So think that AI brings in your pocket a coach. So for myself, for instance, I regularly go back to my AI tool and say, look, I had this situation at work. Maybe I could have done things differently. I would like to be a better leader with my team, for instance, and I would like to do that better in the future doing ABC. Can you provide me maybe tips or ideas on how an executive coach in a company would do it? I like Carlo Ancelotti from Real Madrid, how Carlo Ancelotti in Real Madrid will do it in that situation. And Amy Edmondson is kind of professor from Harvard Business School, is really an expert on psychological safety. How would Amy Edmondson tackle that situation, and what would she say, what would she do, and so on, and can we have a role play on that? And then you get it. And it's fantastic. So
it's fantastic. Also, you can actually have the conversation, voice conversation
correct.
with AI today. So it makes it a bit more.
You can type it.
You can more natural.
Exactly. You can have the voice. If you have your earplugs, you can go for a walk, and then you can have a discussion. So it's different style. It's your way of thinking is different if you type or if you talk. But isn't it nice that as if you would have Amy Edmondson, Carlo Ancelotti, and an executive coach just next to you to give you some tips and encouragement in some situation? That's I think that's the beauty, and it's really going to everyone. That's really what I love about AI, and especially on this day of education and AI, it's that it's going to improve education for everyone. Everyone needs a coach. So why not? So if you have not started yet, to people who are listening to you or for you, Shay, that's something that anyone can try already today.
No, it's very interesting to think about it, because if you're looking at the last 2 years, how AI developed in front of our eyes. I mean, people are using it, we can see the development. We can see how skills that 2 years ago were not part of what AI, the different tools that were offered for the average person, what they were actually able to do with it and what we're able to do with today. And then he's asking, and something that I think is very relevant also for my work for communications. So people work in communications where creativity and writing is a big part of our tasks, our daily tasks. And Elena is asking, as AI takes over not only routine tasks, but increasingly creative ones, what strategies or skills should we focus on to remain relevant and thrive in a rapidly evolving workforce?
So I'm smiling because that's really a topic that we discussed with the team. I mean, creativity and finding new solution is going to be improved by AI. So if we take the example of building a house, before you were doing a sketch on paper, and then maybe you were doing a mock-up, a 3D mock-up, and then some years ago we had software programming enabling you to simulate that online, and then you could modify your house and modify how you want to have the paintings and so on. And now with AI, I mean, very quickly at low cost, you can generate maybe 1,000 models and then ask, okay, what are the 3 best ones? So the cost of experimentation is really going down. And that's really, you can innovate much quicker. You can be much more creative at lower cost, at higher speed with AI. So this is really what I would like all of us to think of. Use AI to generate. You can maybe just try it as part of the workshops rolling out at ABB. You can try it, maybe trying to find new names for your projects. I want to find a project name that can resonate in all different languages, sending this kind of 3 main ideas. If you try to do it yourself, you might come up with 3, 4, 5 names. With AI, maybe you have 50. And then you ask AI to, okay, and give me the 5 best ones and so on. So I really think that it's going to accelerate creativity, innovation if we master that.
Stephen commented that he feels like employees are overwhelmed with all the possibilities that techs give us, collaborative platforms, AI, etc. At the same time, getting overflowed by messages, notifications, noise in general, also at work, but also in our personal lives. How can we help people to focus their attention on what's most relevant?
So of course, I mean, we could say switch off all the notification and isolate yourself. Good. I think I would go back to what do we want to achieve? I mean, if we have our growth objectives clear, and you start with that, and you're passionate about it, you're going to do it. You're going to dedicate time to it. So it's more define what you want to achieve, and it goes to which questions do you need to ask yourself. So it's really more than ever a time where we need to ask ourselves, what do we want? Who do we want to be? Professional life in the company is finite. It's a number of years. How do I want to use that time? Which impact do I want to have? What do I want people to remind me? What you got me, no? I want to be reminded for what, no? From the team and then from my colleagues. So I think it's all of that. It's asking yourself this question. So it's really going back to the art of asking yourself questions. And maybe I can share an anecdote on that one, because I think it's really key to understand that it's the intent that you're going to put in your questions for your life, for your careers, and so on. And it's not work-related analogy, but I think it's a story I can share here. It's a story also of failures and how you can turn it into success, which is key for learning. No? So I like climbing mountains. So a few years ago, with one of my best friends, we wanted to climb Point du Four, which is in Switzerland, the highest peak in Switzerland, close to Zermatt. And it was in June. That's the transition. Still snow. Do you go with skis, or do you go with only by foot? And I called the warden of the mountain refuge. What do you think? I should come with skis or just walking? I say, I think you should come with walking, only walking shoes. Okay, I said to my friends, we leave the skis at home. We go with the walking shoes. We went there. We arrived at the refuge. We were almost the only one with walking shoes, everyone else with the skis. So I went to the warden and I say, was it a joke or what? I mean, you told me to not take the skis. I say, well, you should know. You asked me a question. What do I think? I think you should come with the shoes. And I was so frustrated because it was impossible. The snow conditions made it that it was impossible to do the summit. We tried our best. We didn't manage it. We came back and I was like so frustrated, but probably even more frustrated by the bad question I asked. I asked an opinion and that person gave an opinion. So, and it was like something very important for me. So 2 years later, to close the story, again, same moment of the year, this time with my partner. And then I said, okay, this time I'm going to ask different questions. So I called it, I checked on the web as well. What are, quantitative questions? How much snow do we have? Was it icy? How many people did it? Which type of equipment they use? What's the feedback? Much more quantitative questions. And then I hung up, discuss it with my partner, and we say, this time we take the skis. We go back to the Monte Rosa refuge. We arrive there, everyone with shoes. Almost no one with skis. So I say, whoops. But that was the right decision. We did the peak. We did even a second one. We were faster than the rest. So in the end, for me, that was almost a live lesson. It's all about the intent you put in your questions, because you're going always to get an answer. The ChatGPT for me, AI is like the warden. It will give you an answer. So it's all about the intent you put in your question. So that's maybe a long answer to how we're going to manage this overflow of information and so on. It's really ask yourself, what do you want to achieve? What is your gross objective? And since it's the start of the year, National Day of Education, what is really what you want to achieve in 2025? Define that. Use your HR colleagues, the teachers in leadership learning classes, in functional learning classes and so on, and use AI as well as a help to really identify that. Once you have your North Star, the rest will follow.
Interesting question for Martina. Does artificial intelligence help people become smarter?
We at ABB, we're thinking that AI is going to help us in three different ways. The first one is really it's going to make us more productive. We're going to do things with higher quality, higher speed. I talked earlier about the concept of the net. We're going to be able to do things that were too expensive, too complex before. The second thing is really it's going to help us to develop ourselves. That's what I said earlier. On the Learn, Connect, Grow, it's going to really drastically improve how we learn, how we connect with each other, and how we grow. And also on I would say the third aspect in terms of creativity, what I mentioned with the how we can build houses and generate ideas, experiment, innovate quicker, faster, it's going to massively help us. So I think that without entering into what is smart or not, I think that AI is really definitely going to help us do these three things and do them better. So I see it again as if we go back to the start of our conversation, if education is the most important thing to drive progress, if AI is improving education, AI is going to improve progress. So that would be my way to see it.
Interesting question that I think that was brought up a lot in the last couple of years. Is AI going to take our jobs? I know it's general, but
yeah, I mean it's out there. So if again, ABB 140 years of history, of adaptation, of evolution. Today, we are not doing the same jobs as we were doing 140 years ago. And in 5 years, we're going to do jobs with different tasks, different content. Some of the content will have been automated, and it's probably good news because, I mean, we can all think in our jobs of things that are maybe not highly interesting. Piece of it will be done better with AI, as I just mentioned, in terms of productivity, developing ourselves, creating new ideas. And also, some of the tasks will be only done by AI. But for us, I think that the fun part is really where we are very good at it, using tools to find new solutions and so on. So I think that for ABB, what is our brand positioning? It's engineered to outrun. And we have been doing that for 140 years. It means that it's really finding new solutions to the upcoming problems. The world is changing every time, constantly. So we are always facing new needs, new problems to face, and so on. And it's only by having that curiosity, that even better if mindset, finding new solutions, that you're going to move forward, no? And this is what we call the outrun. Always, one step ahead, always one step better. So I think that's as long as this is our North Star at ABB, engineered to outrun, for me, it's with AI, we're going to do it even more.
I wanted to ask you something about education and employee retention. I mean, generally, we employees are looking for a workplace to also help us develop our skills and grow professionally. How do you see the connection between educational programs offered for employees, and the basically keeping the employees happy as part of the company, and how other companies should look at this?
So like the World Economic Forum report on future of job, there are lots of reports asking employees, okay, what are the main things that you're looking for when you're joining a company? And you always have in the top 3, top 5 maximum, is the company going to support how I'm going to learn? Is the company going to support my career and how I'm going to develop myself, how I'm going to grow, take different jobs, and so on. So it's always in the top 3, always in the top 5. So I think that's, if people who are listening to us want to join ABB, I hope that they will see that this is also what we do internally, Learn, Connect, Grow. We have, for instance, a Learn, Connect, Grow Day that we do every year. 2 years ago, 20,000 participants. Last year, 30,000 participants. The team I'm working on it for this year. They hope even a higher number of employees joining that day, to really reinforce the importance that at ABB we place on really making sure that we educate our employees, to give them the tools, the environment, the psychological safety, the feedback from their managers, and so on, to help them grow and develop their career, develop themselves.
Maybe one of the last questions I wanted to ask you, it's just a lot to do with new ways of learning. Looking at the last few years, if I'm looking, for example, on the personal examples of using learning languages, all the new apps right now that have some gamification as part of the learning. I wanted to hear from your opinion about the effectiveness of those innovative learning methods and how they actually enhance employee engagement in your trainings that we are offering here at ABB.
So I would say that it should not be a replacement for already what we are doing in terms of bringing people together in a classroom, face-to-face or virtual, with the team I have the pleasure and honor to lead with learning coaches that are really creating the environment for people to come together, to learn together, and then to put in practice what they have learned together, to exchange and so on. So really, the knowledge is in the room, and it's really that idea of bringing people together that is super important. So now, knowing that, even better if we can put more gamification, more simulation, and so on. So I think that it's really one of the huge potential of AI to bring more simulation, more practice during and after the leadership learning classes of functional training. Maybe I give an example that I hope we can all relate to. The hospital of Dartmouth in the US is training its doctors on how to be more empathetic.
Important.
It's important. So it's hard as a doctor. Maybe you have not been trained on how to go to a patient and share very sad news with the patient. It's very difficult. So how do you protect yourself as a doctor emotionally, and how you're human and empathetic and compassionate with the patient that you have in front of you? Before it was like, okay, good luck. And today, people can practice this with the help of an AI simulation. No? So if you extrapolate that to any other type of skills, or human skills, leadership skills, so today we are training our leaders on, for instance, having difficult conversations maybe with their employees. They can practice. So they get the theory, they get the exchange, They get a first environment where they exchange ideas as well in the classroom, and then they can practice. And maybe they can practice just the day before having a difficult conversation. So that's, I think that's the beauty that we are seeing, that we're going to have more simulation, more role plays at low cost, at scale, going back to this idea of democratization, personalization, when you need it as an employee, as a leader.
Well, thank you very much for today. We are a bit more time than we expected initially because of all the questions we got from people. I really want to thank you for the time you took with us today. And for everyone who participated, there were so many questions and some conversation in our chat. It's pretty amazing to see different opinions, different approaches for AI, for learning. So thank you very much again.
Thanks to you.
Thank you all for joining us. That was great. Great to hear from you. Joining us for our next live streams. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.